My name is ARPAN BANERJEE. I'm a research scholar at the Department of East Asian Studies, University of Delhi, and academic counselor at IGNO. And I've been teaching you the paper, the code of which is BPAE 141, Right to Information. So this is the paper that I've been teaching you, Right to Information, and the code of this paper is BPAE 141, and I welcome you all to my learning session. So far as part of this paper, we have discussed the block 1 that is related to right to information and introduction. We have discussed the introduction of right to information in this. We had discussed the evolution of this concept of right to information, and we had also discussed the achievements and limitations that this entire movement for right to information has made throughout the world. Moving on, we have been discussing the RTI Act of 2005. In the last class, we were discussing that. So, as part of that, we have discussed the second unit of this paper, that is relating to the RTI Act of 2005, an overview of that landmark act. So in today's class, we are going to discuss the third unit, that is relating to the rules of RTI in India, as well as the fourth and the fifth unit, which are very interrelated. They are relating to the Central Information Commission and the State Information Commissions. So let us begin today's class by discussing the RTI rules. So, as we all know, we have already discussed that the RTI Act of 2005, it was enacted to bring good governance in the system of India's administration. And this act, the RTI Act of 2005, it enjoined every public authority to be transparent and accountable in her working. That is what this act enjoined. And the basic objective of the RTI Act of 2005, the basic objective of that act was to empower the citizens to seek information from the government and its instrumentalities as well, unless sought information falls in the exempted category. So we have already discussed the exempted categories. What are the exempted categories that we have discussed in the first unit as well and in the last class as well. So those information which are very sensitive, which are related to, say, national security, or which are related to the nuclear weapons of India, or which are related to decisions of foreign policy which cannot be disclosed to the common public. So such decisions, they cannot be, such information cannot be sought under the RTI, and the government can deny also disclosing that kind of information. But otherwise, for every other information, RTI can be filed, and RTI is the fundamental right of every citizen. That also we have discussed very clearly. And under Article 19, Clause 3 of the Constitution of India, the RTI, it falls under the fundamental rights. The Supreme Court has made that very clear. We've also discussed the importance of open government. So open government, it makes our democracy work for the people in real sense. And hence this RTI regime, it is intended to provide access to the citizenry to all kinds of information relating to the governance of the country. And this information, it helps in useful political participation. It helps the people who seek this information in participating in a useful manner in the political processes of the country. Now let us discuss the rule-making power under this RTI Act of 2005. So, in order to carry out the aims, objectives, and functions of the RTI Act, the central as well as the state governments, they are empowered to make rules under this RTI Act of 2005. And the RTI rules, they are framed in pursuance of Section 27, 28 and 29 of the RTI Act of 2005. And Section 27 of this 2005 RTI Act, it gives power to the appropriate government, be it central or be it state, to frame rules. So, under Section 27, 28 and 29 of the RTI Act, the central as well as state governments are empowered to frame rules under the are the things related to which pertaining to which the rules have been framed. Now let us discuss Section 28 of this RTI Act. So Section 28 of the RTI Act of 2005, it gives authority to the competent authority to make rules for the fees that is payable for seeking information. Also to charge additional fees as well for rendering information, and also to devise formats for application as well as appeals. And it is very important here to note that this power, it cannot be exercised by the public authorities. And Section 29 makes it mandatory for the government to lay the rules before both the houses of the parliament as soon as the rules are framed. So when the rules were framed back in 2005, those rules were laid before both houses of the government, before of the parliament. That is the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha. So everything is very transparent here. Moving on, the regulation of fees rules of 2005. So in exercise of the powers that have been conferred by clauses B and C of the subsection 2 of Section 27 of this RTI Act, the central government, it made the first principal rule. Now, what was the first principal rule? The first principal rule is that the RTI regulation of fee and cost rules of 2005, which became effective from 16 September 2005. So this was the first principal rule, that the RTI Act, it became effective from 16 September 2005. And these rules of the RTI Act, they provided for the application fees for seeking information, and also, as we have already discussed, the mode of fee payment and charges for the document inspection or for having a hard or soft copy of the document of the information that is sought under this RTI. Now, let us discuss the Central Information Commission appeal procedure rules of 2005. So there are separate rules for appeal that govern the procedure relating to appeals as well. So in exercise of the powers that are conferred by clauses E and F of the subsection 2 of Section 27 of the RTI Act of 2005, the Union government, it passed the Central Information Commission appeal procedure rules of 2005, and these rules then came into effect, came into application from the 28th of October of 2005 only. And these rules, they provided for contents of appeal, having particulars of the appellant as well as the details of the relief that is being sought. And also, documents to accompany the appeal were to be self-attested by the appellant. So the document that accompany the appeal for RTI, they are to be self-attested by the appellant. That is clearly mentioned under this Central Information Commission appeal procedure rules of 2005. And also the rules, they also provided for procedure in deciding appeal, and also the service of notice by the Central Information Commission. All these things have been elaborately mentioned. And the order of the Central Information Commission was to be pronounced in open proceedings. And they are to be in writing, and they are to be duly authenticated by the registrar or by any other officer who is authorized by the Commission. And the appellant or the complainant, they are to be present during the appeal proceedings, or if that appellant is not present, then some authorized representative on behalf of the appellant should be present when the appeal proceedings are going on. Now, moving on, if we discuss the Central Information Commission management regulations of 2007, they are also very important. So, the CIC management regulations, CIC, that is the Central Information Commission. So, the CIC management regulations of 2007, they were introduced in order to ensure the smooth functioning of the CIC, as there were no provisions in the RTI Act of 2005 with regards to the powers and functions of the Central Information Commission, or how to deal with the appeals and complaints. So these regulations were quashed by the Delhi High Court in 2010 later on. The Delhi High Court in 2010 ruled that the CIC had no power to make regulations under Section 12, subsection 4 of the RTI Act of 2005. However, some high courts, including the Patna High Court, have approved the CIC regulations that have been framed by their respective state information commissions. And the CIC challenged the decision of the Delhi High Court in the Supreme Court. So now let us discuss the Central Information Commission Appeal Procedure Rules of 2005. So these rules are again in exercise of the powers that have been conferred by clauses E and F of the subsection 2 of section 7 of the RTI Act of 2005. And the central government, as we have already discussed, has passed the CIC, Central Information Commission Appeal Procedure Rules of 2005. And they came into effect on 28th October 2005. So we have already discussed this, that these rules, they provided for the contents of appeal, having the particulars, also mentioning the particulars that are to be there in a specific appeal, and also the particulars of the appellant as well have to be mentioned, and also the details of the relief that is being sought, that also has to be mentioned. So we have already discussed these, that the documents that are to accompany this appeal, they are to be self-attested by the appellant, and the rules that are provided for procedure in deciding the appeal, and also the service of the notice by the commission, that is also clearly mentioned. And we have also discussed that the order of the commission, the Central Information Commission, it is to be pronounced in open proceedings, and these orders are to be in writing, and they have to be duly authenticated by the registrar or by any other officer who is authorized by the commission. And the appellant or the complainant has to be present also during the appeal proceedings, that we have already discussed. And if the appellant is not present, then some authorized representative should be present on behalf of the appellant. So, and we have already discussed that the CIC management rules were introduced in 2007 because there were no provisions for the Central Information Commission in the RTI Act of 2005 with regards to the powers and functions of the Central Information Commission. However, as we have discussed, that these regulations were quashed by the Delhi High Court in 2010. And the Delhi High Court said that the Central Information Commission has no power to make regulations under Section 12, subsection 4 of the RTI Act of 2005. However, the Central Information Commission appealed against this in the Supreme Court. And some of the high courts have also approved the regulations that have been framed by their respective state information commissions. So now let us discuss the RTI rules of 2012. So the in exercise of the powers that are under section 27 and 28 of the RTI Act of 2005, the central government, the state governments, the high courts, they notified these RTI rules of 2012. And under these RTI rules of 2012, the fee that is prescribed by different appropriate governments or competent authorities, they are at great variance. So there is no equal fee. It's not that there is the same fee. Different governments have levied different fees. So that is one feature that we have to remember. And of 2012, they were being framed. A notification was issued by the government of India to the chief secretaries of all states and union territories and registrars of all high courts and to the registrar of the Supreme Court as well on 26th April 2011. And that notification was issued for the harmonization of the fee that was payable under the RTI Act of 2005. And this notification, it read like this. So, according to this notification, Section 28 and 27 of the RTI Act of 2005, they empowered the appropriate governments as well as competent authorities to make rules and to prescribe inter alia the fees that was payable under the Act. However, the central government, it appealed to all the state governments, to all the chief secretaries of the states and union territories, except Jammu and Kashmir, of course, because Jammu and Kashmir was then under Article 370, which has now been removed. So, the central government had appealed to all the states and union territories for the harmonization of the fee that was paid under the RTI Act of 2005. So, in exercise of these powers, the central government, the state governments, and the high courts, they have notified these RTI rules of 2012. And it has been observed that the fee prescribed by different appropriate governments or competent authorities at great variance. We have already discussed that. And the second ARC, or the second Administrative Reforms Commission, that has, in this regard, recommended that the states should frame rules regarding the application fee in harmony with the central rules. And the states should ensure that the fee should not become a disincentive for using the right to information. That was also been mentioned. And now let us discuss the incentives for so harmonization of the RTI, the fee procedure rules under the RTI Act 2005. So the government of India had notified a set of RTI rules in 2012, which were dated 31st July 2012. And in these rules, the government of India clearly said that while drafting the RTI rules, it was stipulated that once notified, the state governments would be requested to adopt these rules mutatis mutandis, that is, with the necessary changes having been made, so that there might be uniformity. So the government requested for central government appealed for uniformity as far as possible in the matter of implementation of the act throughout the country. So uniformity is one thing regarding the implementation of the RTI Act of 2005, that the central government had to appeal to the state governments repeatedly, because as we have already observed that there was a lot of variance regarding the fees that was being charged for an RTI, for filing an RTI by the state governments, different state governments. And the second Administrative Reforms Commission, it also observed that this fees that is being charged, it should not become a disincentive for people, and so that they stop filing RTI applications. That should not happen. So that is why we are seeing that the central government, it repeatedly issued different notifications and appeals, appealing to the state governments to take care of this, so that the fees does not become a disincentive for the people who are seeking information. And also there is a harmonization in the different RTI, in the RTI acts that the state governments enacted, and also in the fees that they levied. And there is no variance, rather there is harmonization. So now let us discuss the rules regarding appeal to the commission under the RTI rules of 2012. So provisions regarding appeal are enacted under section 19 of the RTI Act of 2005. So an appeal can be filed to the Central Information Commission or State Information Commission against the first appellate authority, and to the first appellate authority against the Central Public Information Officer as well, or the State Information Officer, State Public Information Officer, SPIO. So that this appeal, it can be filed. So now if we discuss the rules 8 to 15 of the RTI rules of 2012, they have laid down detailed procedure for filing an appeal to the commission. And a format of appeal is also attached in the appendix of the RTI rules of 2012 as well. And this has been done to facilitate the aggrieved persons to file appeal against the first appellate authority. So that is why an appendix is attached, a format of the appeal is attached in the appendix of RTI rules 2012. And the appellant should give details also on the points that are given in the appendix. Now, if we discuss the appeal to the commission, Rule 8, it provides that a person who has been aggrieved by an order of the first appellate authority, or if a person has been aggrieved by the non-disposal of his appeal by the first appellate authority, then that person may file an appeal to the commission in the format that is given in the appendix. And that appeal, it shall be accompanied by the following documents. And these documents need to be duly authenticated and verified by the appellant. Now, we shall be discussing what are those documents that need to accompany a certain appeal to the commission, to the Central Information Commission or to the State Information Commissions. So a copy of the application that is submitted to the Central Public Information Officer, that has to be there if an appeal is being filed. A copy of the application is to be there. Also, a copy of the reply that has been received, if at all any reply has been received, that also has to be there. If a reply has been received from the Central Public Information, a copy of that reply also has to accompany the appeal. And also appellate authority, that also has to be there. And also a copy of the order that has been received, if at all any order has been received from the first appellate authority, that also has to be there. And the copies of the other documents also that have been relied upon which the appellant has relied upon, they are also be there, and they are to be referred to in this appeal. That has been clearly mentioned. And also an index of the documents that have been referred to in the appeal, that also has to be there. So now let us discuss the presence of the appellant before the commission. So according to Rule 12 of this RTI Act, the commission, it shall inform the appellant about the date of presence at least 7 clear days before the date of hearing. So the appellant has to be informed about his date of presence at least 7 days before the date of hearing, and the appellant may be present in person or through his duly authorized representative or through video conferencing also. And if the facility of video conferencing is available at the time of hearing of the appeal by the commission. So the person either can be present physically or if not possible, then that person can send a duly authorized representative on his or her behalf, or even if that is not possible, then that person can be present through video conferencing also. So a lot of flexibility has been allowed by the Rule 12. And if the commission is satisfied that the appellant is not able to attend the hearing, then the commission, it may afford the appellant another opportunity of being heard before a final decision is taken. And the commission may take any other appropriate action if it deems fit. So now let us discuss the presentation by the public authority. As per Rule 13, the public authority, it may authorize any representative on his or her behalf to present its case. The Rule 14, they are relating to the service of notice by the commission. So, Rule 14, it provides that the commission, it may issue the notice by name and it shall be served by the party itself, and it can be served by hand delivery also through a process server, or it can also be served, this notice, by registered post also with acknowledgement that is due, and it also can be served by electronic mail also in case email address is available. So order of the commission, as per Rule 15 of this act, the order of the commission, it shall be given in writing, and it shall be issued under the seal of the commission, duly authenticated by the registrar or any other officer who has been authorized by the commission for this purpose. So now let us discuss the RTI rules of 2019. We have already discussed the RTI rules of 2012. We have been discussing the Central Information Commission management rules that were brought in 2010. All these things we have discussed in today's class. Now we'll be discussing the RTI rules of 2019. Since in this third unit, we are dealing with the rules relating to RTI. So we'll be discussing the RTI rules of 2019. So this RTI rules of 2019, they were pertaining to the term of office of the RTI commissioners, of the information commissioners, the salaries and allowances and other terms and conditions of service of the chief information commissioners, and those information commissioners who were there in the Central Information Commission, or the state chief information commissioners and the state information commissioners as well, in the state who are serving in the State Information Commission. So these are the things pertaining to which the RTI rules of 2019 were brought in. They clearly specified the term of office of the Central Chief Information Commission at the Central Information Commission as well as the State Chief Information Commissioner at the State Information Commission as well. So these things were clearly specified by the RTI rules of 2019, and the government stated relating to these rules, the government, it stated that these rules are of administrative nature, and these rules, they pertain to the internal administration of the concerned organization only and not beyond that. And the government also clearly stated that these rules, they do not in any way affect the citizens' right to information or obligations of public authorities and public information officers that are given in Chapter 2 of the RTI Act. And the powers and functions of the information commissions, they stay undiluted, as the relevant provisions under Chapter 5 of the Act, they also remain unaltered. And the independence and autonomy of these institutions are not at all affected in any way by this RTI Act of 2019. This act was pertaining only to the salaries and allowances and terms and conditions of office of the Central Information Commissioners and the State Information Commissioners, as well as the Chief Central Information Commission Commissioner and the State Chief Information Commissioners. That is what it was pertaining to. And so there is an online portal as well for filing RTI applications and also for first appeal as well. And that is the rtionline.gov.in. And this online portal, it was launched by the government of India for filing RTI application and also for first appeal, along with the payment gateway as well, by all Indian citizens for all ministries, departments, and other public authorities of the central government. So an online RTI application or first appeal, it should not be filed for public authorities of state government, including the government of NCT of Delhi. And if filed, the application would be returned without refund of amount. And a user manual is also available regarding how to file an online RTI application on the website. And according to the RTI rules of 2012, no fees is required to be paid by any citizen who is below the poverty line. And if a citizen belongs to the BPL category, then that citizen has to upload the BPL card certificate in supporting the document that is to be filed. And if a citizen belongs to the non-BPL category, then that citizen make a payment of 10 rupees only, as prescribed by the RTI rules of 2012. And payment can be made through internet banking as well, through credit or debit card as well. And so these facilities have been provided. So in conclusion, if we discuss the rules of the RTI Act of 2005, if we have to conclude, we can say that the working of this RTI Act of 2005, it has shown that the RTI rules of 2012 are incomplete. Because why are they incomplete? Because they do not cover many things that we have discussed. They do not cover many of the things regarding the safety of the person who is seeking the information. So many times, many corruptions and illegal acts are also unearthed by these RTI applications. So the safety of the whistleblowers, that has not been ensured by these RTI rules of 2012. And also, they do not cover rules regarding the eligibility criteria for information commissioners, or for being a central public information officer, or for being a first appellate authority. And also, they do not cover the rules regarding the non-compliance of RTI. That is not also other things that have not been adequately covered of the RTI Act of 2005. And it has also been noticed that the fee that is being prescribed by the central and the state government authorities are different. So the harmonization, it could not be achieved. So this again is a drawback of the RTI rules of 2012. And again, another thing that is a particular concern has been observed is that rules that are framed by the high courts and the legislative assemblies, they are many a times not in accordance with the Act. So again, uniformity is like of harmonization as well. So these are some of the concerns that have been observed pertaining to the RTI rules of 2012, which were brought in pursuance of the RTI Act of 2005. Now, moving on, again, another drawback, if we discuss, is that rules relating to the exemptions and compelling to disclose reasons for seeking giving proofs or lowering the penalty. These are rules that are beyond the provisions of the RTI Act, and these are beyond the competence of the subordinate legislation also that are being conferred by the Section 28. So that is why after the inception of the RTI Act 2005, many clarifications have been issued by the DOT regarding various provisions of the Act. Citizen appendices has also been applied, and such facility also that is available regarding the disclosure. And this has been done to help the applicants of the provisions of the RTI Act and the rules relating to the RTI Act. We are done with the unit 3 of this paper. As part of the we discussed the rules of the RTI Act of 2005. Now, we'll be discussing the Central Information Commission as part 4. You all know that the new term, it promised to be an era of good governance, ensuring transparency and accountability on behalf of the government, and also its instrumentalities as well. And all sections of society that are concerned with public, they were all ensured, they were all promised that this would be an era of good governance and transparency and accountability. And again, these trends have also been further stimulated by the growth of information technology, by enhanced globalization, as well as independence of national economies. So that is why we've seen that this era, it has been an era of freedom of information. And as we have already discussed, that freedom of information, it has many advantages. So freedom of information, it facilitates public affairs by having access to relevant information. And as we have already discussed, in an informed society, people can make choices and exercise their democratic rights as well. Of the verification, it provided for the terms and conditions of the Chief Information Commissioner and the other information commissioners. So the powers and functions of the Central Information Commission, they were also clearly specified in this notification of 2005, and they included the powers to receive appeals and impose penalty as well. So these were discussed under sections 18 to 20 of the notification that was brought in 2005 regarding the Central Information Commission. And besides this, the Central Information Commission is also entrusted with the duty of monitoring the functions of the public authorities and also sending reports to Parliament about the implementations of the different provisions of the RTI Act. And the Information Commission can also render recommendations also regarding the efficient working of the RTI Act. Now, let us discuss the constitution of the Central Information Commission. So, as we have discussed that in the previous slide, we have discussed that the Section 12, Clause 1 of the RTI Act of 2005, it provided that the central government, it shall, by notification in the official gazette, constitute a body to be known as the Central Information Commission. And this body was to exercise the powers that are conferred on it, and it was to perform the functions that were assigned to it under this RTI Act of 2005. So, subsection 2 of this section 12, it states that the Central Information Commission, it shall consist of the Chief Information Commissioner and other members who are to be referred to as the Central Information Commissioners, and the number of Central Information Commissioners, it should not exceed 10. That was also clearly specified, and as per section 2 clause D, the Chief Information Commissioner and the Information Commissioner, they mean they refer to the Chief Information Commissioner and Information Commissioners who have been appointed under subsection 3 of section 12. So this was clearly specified, and the procedure also was clearly specified for the appointment of the Chief Information Commissioner as well and other members. So section 12 clause 3, it provided that the Chief Information Commissioner and the Information Commissioner, they are to be appointed by the President of India on recommendation of a committee, and this appointment committee, it shall consist of 3 persons. So this appointment committee, this committee for appointing the Chief Information Commissioner and the other information commissioners, they are to consist of the Honorable Prime Minister of India, who will be the chairperson of this committee, the leader of opposition in the Lok Sabha, as well as a Union Cabinet Minister who is to be nominated by the Prime Minister. And also there has been an explanation to the subsection 3 of section 12, which made it clear that in case there is no leader of opposition, there is no recognized leader of opposition in the Lok Sabha, the leader of the single largest group in opposition of the government in the Lok Sabha, then that leader will be deemed to be the leader of opposition. Now let us discuss the superintendent's direction and management regarding the Central Information Commission. So subsection 4 of section 12, it clearly stated that the general superintendents and direction and management affairs of the Central Information Commission, they shall be vested in the Chief Information Commissioner, and this Chief Information Commissioner shall be assisted by other informationers. And also the qualifications have also been mentioned for appointment of the Chief Information Commissioner and other information commissioners. And these qualifications, they have been mentioned in subsection 5 of section 12. These qualifications for the appointment of Chief Information Commissioner and other information commissioners, they have been mentioned in subsection 5 of section 12. And it has been clearly stated under this subsection 5 of section 12 that all the members of the Chief Information Commission, of the Central Information Commission, including the Chief Information Commissioners, they shall be persons who shall have eminence in public life. And these persons are to have wide knowledge as well as experience in law as well as science and technology, in management, social service, journalism, mass media, or administration, as well as governance. So regarding from these different fields, certain persons, they are to be selected and they are to be appointed. And also the subsection 6, it has made it mandatory that the Chief Information Commissioner or other information commissioners, they shall not be a member of parliament or they shall not be a member of any of the state legislature, and they should not hold any office of profit as well. And it was further required that the members of this commission, they will not be connected with any political party also, or they should not carry on any business or pursue any profession. So the section 12 has mentioned that the headquarters of the Central Information Commission shall be located in Delhi, and the Central Information Commission, it may also establish offices at other places in India as well, with the prior approval of the central government. So these are the things that have been clearly mentioned. And the decision of the government of India regarding the constitution of benches, that also came, and on the 2nd of 2005, the government of India, it issued an office memorandum regarding clarification on the constitution of benches by the Central Information Commission for the purpose of hearing applications and appeals of the RTI. So this office memorandum, it's that it has been observed that the Central Information Commission, taking decisions on the complaints and appeals by the constituting benches, it could function through benches only if there is a specific provision in the Act regarding the constitution of benches by the Central Information Commission. That was stated in this Act, in this Office Memorandum. So the provisions of the Section 12, subsection 4 of the RTI Act, it does not empower the Chief Information Commissioner to constitute benches. That was clearly mentioned by this Office Memorandum of 2005 by the central government. And hence the central government, it said that it is advised that the decisions on the complaints and appeals should be taken by the Central Information Commission as defined in Section 2, Clause B of the RTI Act, and not by the benches of the Commission. So this was also clearly stated. And the procedure for removal of the Chief Information Commissioner or the Information Commissioners, that has also been stipulated. And Section 14, subsection 1 of the RTI Act, it has provided for that subject to the provisions of subsection 3, the Chief Information Commissioner or any other Information Commissioner can be removed also from office only by the President. And what are the grounds on the Chief Information Commissioner or the Information Commissioners can be removed? They are proved misbehavior or incapacity before the Supreme Court, if it is proved, and also on a reference that is made to the Supreme Court by the President, or if on inquiry it is reported that the Chief Information Commissioner or any other Information Commissioner has engaged in proved misbehavior or incapacity, then they can be removed also. So we have discussed the Central Information Commission. Now let us discuss the State Information Commission as well, which is Unit 5 of. So far in today's class, we have discussed the rules in the RTI Act of 2005, as well as the Central Information Commission as well, and the role and functions and powers also we have discussed of the Central Information Commission, as well as the Chief Information Commissioner as well, and the qualifications that are required in order to be appointed the Chief Information Commissioner. 15 to 17 of this RTI Act of 2005, it provided for the constitution, terms and conditions of service, as well as removal of the State Chief Information Commissioner, as well as the other State Information Commissioners as well. So, similar to the Central Information Commission, the powers and functions of the State Information Commission, including the powers to receive appeals and impose penalty, they have been discussed under sections 18 to 20 of this RTI Act of 2005. And besides this, the State Information Commission is also entrusted with the duty of monitoring the function of that has been assigned on the State Information Commission to monitor the functions of public authorities and also to send report to the state legislature a while ago about the constitution of the Central Information Commission. The RTI Act of 2005 has also discussed in detail the constitution of the State Information Commission as well, and it has said that the State Information Commission, it shall be a multi-member body just like the Central Information Commission. And section 15 subsection 1, it stated that every state government by notification in its official gazette, it may specify the powers that have been conferred upon the State Information Commission and also the duties which the State Information Commission has been entrusted with. So Section 15, subsection 2, it clearly stipulates the State Information Commission. It will consist of a state chief information commissioner, just like chief information commissioner at the CIC also. So in the SIC, or the State Information Commission, there shall be a state chief information commission. Also, there shall be other information commissioners as well, not more than 10. And now let us discuss how the state governments have performed. Different state governments have performed regarding the functioning of the State Information Commission. So, as if we can see that almost in all the states of India, the State Information Commission has been established, and they have their own official websites as well. And these websites are linked to the Central Information Commission. They display their information regarding the establishment, when they were established, regarding their different activities also for the promotion of RTI, and also the data regarding the complaints and appeals as well as annual reports are also put up on these websites of the State Information Commissions. And so one can visit their official websites of any of the State Information Commission, and by visiting their website, one can get updates about their initiatives for the RTI, for the promotion of RTI, and also what they are doing regarding record keeping as well. So, for example, the Bihar government, it has started a very unique initiative called Jankari. And as per this initiative, in Information Communication and Technology (ICT), it has been innovatively used, and also it has been effectively employed in making the RTI Act more broad based. So the Bihar government, the government of Bihar, it has launched this initiative called Jankari, whereby they have innovatively used and effectively employed ICT, Communications and Technology, in making the RTI Act more broad based and accessible also to the common people. And by doing this, they have bridged the literacy and digital divide as well. So in Bihar, we can see that there is a lot of positive development regarding the growth of the RTI. And so there are regarding this Jankari, so as per this Jankari initiative, facilitation centers have also been created, and these facilitation centers, they have phone-in services as well, and so they help people generate RTI. So they help the people in generating RTI applications and also to get information under the RTI as well. And in the state of Bihar, this system, it has been designed in an information at your doorstep format. So the hassles of physical movement by the common man, they have been removed, and this Jankari initiative in the state of Bihar, it has been regarded as one of the successful implementation of the RTI Act at the state level, at the provincial level. And this RTI Act of 2005, under this act, when this Jankari was set up in January 2007, it has been running very successfully, and it has been generating applications under RTI Act for people all over Bihar. And recently, it was also awarded as the best e-governance initiative by the government of India as well. And a lot of work regarding RTI has also been taking place in the state of Chhattisgarh as well. And in Chhattisgarh, for administrative and functional clarity as well as convenience, the work has been distributed between the Chief Information Commissioner and the Information Commissioners for disposal of all cases, appeals, and grievances that are pertaining to the allocated districts. And also, video conferencing facility is also available at the Chhattisgarh Information Commission, and this has facilitated hearing of cases by the Chief Information Commissioner as well as the other information commissioners through video conferencing. And also the RTI training programs are also organized on RTI, and meetings in the state of Chhattisgarh also, we can see that the government of Chhattisgarh has played an effective role in the effective implementation of the RTI Act, and also they have taken serious measures in training their first appellate authorities as well as public information officers. So they have generated a lot of public awareness. And in the state of Sikkim also, there has been a lot of positive work through documentaries and street plays as well. A lot of awareness has been created regarding the RTI Act. So in today's class, we have discussed the rules of RTI Act of 2005. We have discussed the Central Information Commission of so we are pretty much done with the second block of this paper, and in the next class we shall be discussing about the third block of this paper. What we shall be discussing in the next class, we will be discussing the rules of RTI, the Central Information Commission, and the State Information Commission. So thank you all for this class. And that's it for today.